Hello LR10 students. This is a generic video on how to complete your annotated bibliography. Each class might have a little bit different directions, maybe different resources required, etc. You are going to need to read the actual directions for your particular class, but in case you want some verbal and visual directions on this assignment, I've created this video for you. When we go through this video, there's going to be some things that are different than what you can see because I don't have the ability to take out each of my courses out of this assignment. So you won't see all of these. You'll only see your particular course, okay, when you see the directions. And here are the directions are down here for the final project. Before I get started, I want to talk to you a little bit about getting help. Up here at the top, we have LR10 face-to-face drop-in hours. If you click on this and then click here, this semester we have around about, I believe, 63.5 weekly hours of LR10 instructors on various reference desks that can help you out face-to-face. You're not stuck doing this online if you need help. So you can come and see any of these librarians at any point if you need help. Okay, so that's where this is. Now finding me in particular, you should know this already, but in case you don't, here's getting in touch with me. Okay, of course you can always email me. It depends on where your course is being held. If it's being held on the Fairfield campus, really Mondays and Tuesdays are the day to see me. Tuesdays can change a little bit, so make sure you get in touch. I have a meeting that starts at 2 on most Tuesdays, so sometimes I'm not around. Mondays, definitely here until 6:30. You can come sit with me and we can work on this as much as you need. And then Vacaville Center Library, I'm there Wednesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 3. This is a great time to come see me, even if you're in one of my Fairfield classes, because it's quieter at the Vacaville Center Library and I've got lots of time to help you out. I can help you out getting started. I can help you out reviewing what you've already done. You just need to come and see me. Okay, so now you've got all my hours and all the other LR10 instructor librarian hours. Anybody is available to help you to get your work done. Okay, so do not use that as an excuse. So going back home again and back to the assignment. As I said, you're only going to see your particular instructions here. I'm just going to go ahead and click on this set of instructions. And up here will be your due date. You want to go ahead and check it for your particular assignment. Okay, so the goal of the annotated bibliography for me is to test whether or not you've learned what you were supposed to in LR10. So you're going to be finding resources for me from the resources that we've covered in LR10. This is also going to sync up with your English 1 research paper. So the topic you are going to be writing on for your English 1 research paper, you're going to be researching for me. So you're not doubling up on work because you need to actually do the research for your English 1 class, and I'm just getting you started early on it. Okay, an annotated bibliography contains sources. Your source requirements are going to be different for the English class you're in. The one we're looking at right now has a 5-source requirement. Make sure you check that per your English class. Each source is going to be put into an MLA format, alphabetical order, and then you are going to do your annotations and for them provide evidence. And I'm going to go through each step of this. Okay, so the first page of your annotated bibliography is a summary page, and then you're going to have your annotations starting on the second page. Each annotation is going to include an MLA citation, a summary, 2 to 3 sentences of the resource and what it's about, and then 2 to 3 sentences describing the relevance of the article to your English project. Why did you choose this resource? And not just because I'm making you get it. Why is it applicable to what you're doing? How is it helpful to your research? Which part of it is helpful to your research? And then you're going to give a clear, detailed description of how you located the source. So I went to ProQuest. I use these keywords. I chose this particular resource. It was number 3. I'll show you some examples in a second. And then you're going to tell me what your source type was. This is important because your citations are different per the different resource. A newspaper is cited differently than a magazine is cited differently than a scholarly journal. And then you are going to provide evidence. Okay? As I said, in this particular example assignment, there are 5 required resources, 1 full text book, no Google Books. Okay, you can use an ebook, you can use the EBSCOhost ebooks, you can use the ebooks off the main Solano page, you can use a full textbook. I don't want you to use any of your course required books. You need to find another one, but you can get a print book from the library, or a print book that you have from something else is fine as well. Just no Google Books. And just remember that an ebook is cited differently than a print book, and I will cover that in a second. And then you have to find 3 articles from a Solano College database. You could pull them all from one search. They could all be newspaper articles. They could all be scholarly journal articles. It depends on your research, what you need, but you can't pull them from the open web. They have to come from an SEC database, and if you don't do this, you won't get credit for them. So 3 articles and then a website. And you can pull the website from Google. It can be any open website. Just make sure that you follow this and provide a CARS or CRAP evaluation of the site. With this part, even if you choose, the CNN website or a New York Times website, just pretend like I'm a Martian and I have no idea who the New York Times are, and explain to me why the New York Times is a credible resource. Okay, so make sure you do this. Okay, so we'll come back to these directions in a second. I want to go ahead and look at an annotated bibliography example, which is right here. So go ahead and open that. Okay, so first things first, you need to make sure that you have an MLA heading. This is a standard MLA heading. Make sure you do this correctly. Okay. Then you're going to go ahead and put your title, whatever it is you're working on. This is only an example, so obviously you don't want to be using this as your directions. Many of this example doesn't even apply to the topics you're working on. But you're going to go ahead and put in your title, and then you're going to go through and double space everything. Here's a summary of your topic. This is your first page. I just want to know what it is you're working on. If you're submitting a topic proposal, you can pull from there to help you write this. But just basically, what direction is your research taking you? What are you looking at? Okay, and then you are going to start your citations and annotations. Again, you've got your last name and page number here. These are going to start alphabetically. Okay, so it's not by source type, it's alphabetically by the actual source as you're doing your in-text citations. And I posted a couple of videos in class on doing your in-text citations and your works cited page that I think are quite helpful. So here's my summary, and then here's why it's relevant to my research, and then how I went about finding the actual article. Source type, newspaper from ProQuest database. If you're using OneSearch, remember that the newspaper actually is going to come from a particular database. You just used OneSearch to get there. So make sure you're citing the particular database, and then here's your evidence. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to do this in a second, but this is particular as well and how this is done. So scrolling down, here's each of my resources. That's what your annotated bibliography is going to look like. If your annotated bibliography does not look like this, you have a problem, and you need to come see me or readdress the directions, but this is what it should look like. Okay, going back to the directions. So some things that people forget that I don't want you to forget. Do not forget your summary page. Make sure your MLA heading is correct. Do not make up your MLA heading. The date formula for, or date format for MLA is the date and then the month. Don't forget your hanging indents. The databases will oftentimes forget hanging indents, and it's up to you to make sure they get back in there. The medium is what kind of source it is. 90% of the time it's going to be web. It's print if you're actually holding the published copy in your hand. But otherwise, if you got it via the web, it's going to be the web. Don't cite SCC Find It. This is actually also one search. That is, you just need to cite the database you actually end up in. Make sure that you do a CARS evaluation for your website. You lose points on that. Double space the entire thing. Alphabetize your sources. And then make sure you put in evidence for each source. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to go home again and look at the rest of the tools that are in here. Okay, so other helpful items. Here are the 2 videos I was telling you about for how to do in-text citations and how to do a works cited. These are really great videos. I absolutely recommend watching them. There's a cheat sheet here for MLA. Just pay attention to, I know it's quite pretty, the fact that a print book is cited differently than an ebook. In an ebook, you need to cite the database. And then here's a magazine, a newspaper, journal article. Note the hanging indents. Note the italics here. Okay, I don't care if you're using Easy Bib or Noodle Tools or the databases to do your citations, but it's up to you to make sure the citations are correct, and the only way you're going to know that is if you compare them to something. So make sure you compare your citations to these examples here, even if you're cutting and pasting them from the databases. Checklist for establishing credibility. This has links to CARS and CRAP if you don't want to go back to unit, I actually think it's unit 3, and this will take you through how to do your evaluation. It's important you do this for your website. And then this illustrated guide to citation tools. This is quite helpful for pulling your citations from each of the databases. It shows you where you have to click if you're in a particular database. So for example, you're here in EBSCOhost, you click on the Cite tool. It also has some notes once you enlarge it on if the database doesn't do something correctly. So for example, I know for sure that the Literature Resource Center does not put in a hanging indent. So you need to make sure you move that hanging indent over. Okay, so then next is how to provide evidence. Okay, the main thing you need to remember here is that I do not want you to use this URL. Do not use this URL. It is not a static URL. I need a URL I can use and get into. So you're going to look for the particular static link that is in the article. And just to be helpful, the databases call them different things. So if you're in ProQuest, it's this document URL. If it's an EBSCOhost, it's this permalink. Okay. Permalink is here in EBSCOhost. In academic search, you bookmark this document. You can always get help. For the library catalog or a print book, you can send me a photograph of it if you want. You can bring it in. I can check it off. There's different options for that. I just want to see. You can scan in the front page. I just want to see evidence of it. Okay. So that should be about it. Please make sure you're coming to see me if you have any questions. Oh, last thing, how to turn it in. So you are going to go back to your directions here, and all you need to do is click on Submit Assignment. And you are going to submit a file, a Word doc or a Google Doc. If you're using a Mac, please make sure that you save it as a doc and not Pages or whatever other thing Mac has you save in, because I can't open it on Canvas. So go ahead, and then you just add the file and submit the assignment. And then I will read it and grade it and give you some comments, and we will go from there. Okay, please get in touch if you need any help.